heroes aren't always the best behaved, and sometimes they need someone to call them out. Welcome back, Nerd Squad. It's me, Amanda. Today we are counting down the top 10 times heroes were put in their place. Goodness knows it's needed sometimes, and it has in fact happened quite a bit. Which heroes do you think deserve to be called out? Number 10. One Punch! One of the wildest times I can think of when it comes to a hero getting put in their place would be when Guy Gardner challenged Batman for leadership of the Justice League. Challenging Batman to a fistfight, Guy removed his Green Lantern ring, talking a big game before getting knocked out with one punch. I mean, Guy Gardner, normally with his Green Lantern power, could easily overwhelm and defeat Batman, let's be real here. But of course Guy's ego would be his weakness here, thinking he could take on Batman without his powers. I mean, Batman might be a human, but he's probably one of the most skilled, experienced, and honestly smartest humans around. So how Guy thought he could stand a chance against him, I honestly have no idea. Although I would have expected him to last a little longer in the fight than about 2 seconds at least. Quite embarrassing. And friends, before we move on to our next spot on this list, if you love what we do here at Top 10 Nerd, be sure to let me know by giving this video a thumbs up. Number 9. Now get out of that stupid body. I don't know why I said it like that. Could you imagine if Gene said it that way? Also, fun fact, all of my points here are quotes, so if you want to try to guess where they're from before I tell you, feel free in the comments. While there is the what if where Emma gets the Phoenix Force, this isn't the only time that this actually happened. In fact, this has also happened in the main continuity when the Phoenix returned to Earth. For a brief time in Phoenix Endsong, Emma was the Phoenix's host. However, this didn't last too long, as Jean was returned to collect the Phoenix and take it back, as it was considered to be a piece of herself. And of course, seeing that it was too much power for Emma and that it was corrupting her. Emma thought that she could handle the Phoenix Force until Jean came and put her in her place, reminding her that actually, she couldn't. And while insulting her and the Phoenix, also helping to set her and the Phoenix free again from one another. Number 8. Good luck, Pine Martin. I don't know if Wolverine actually deserved this one, but it definitely is something that happened and it was brutal, so hey, we're gonna talk about it. Punisher in Marvel Knight's Punisher once teamed up with the old Knucklehead to take down a gang of little people. However, Punisher had his own approach to handling them that differed from Wolverine's. Basically, Punisher just wanted to completely destroy the gang, whereas Wolverine seemed more interested in bringing them to justice. Punisher thinks this is because Wolverine is also shorter in stature and is therefore somewhat allied with the gang, and this clouded his judgment. More likely, however, is the reasoning that Wolverine just found Punisher's approach to be simply too brutal. As punishment for this somewhat betrayal, Punisher proceeds to use and mistreat Wolverine severely, blasting off his face, allowing the gang to attempt to remove Logan's limbs, shooting him where the sun don't shine, and finally steamrolling the hero, all while ridiculing him verbally. Number 7. You know this is supposed to be unbreakable glass, right? This is a great one. While Spider-Man and Wolverine were both on the Avengers, they stayed at the Avengers Tower. This was when Peter and MJ were still married, and so MJ was staying there with them. However, after some bad press, MJ left their room in tears while Peter was still asleep. During his pursuit of MJ, he runs into Wolverine, who seems to have also heard the bad news. Wolverine insinuates that MJ might not have messed up so badly and probably wouldn't even be with Peter if she had some brains to go along with all that beauty. Peter's reaction is also additionally aggravated by the fact that the bad news in the press is suggesting that Tony Stark is basically having an affair with the married young actress. Frustrated and upset, Peter picks up Wolverine and tosses him out of an Avengers Tower window. That's really high up. Not only is that a long way down, but the windows are all apparently completely unbreakable, or at least they were designed to be. Ouch. Number 6. We're in my mindscape now. You might be surprised to hear that Emma Frost, who herself has her own list of misdeeds, was at a time the one to call out Professor X for his. Now, granted, if you've been following along with modern comics, then this might not surprise you too much, as a while back, it was basically established that Professor X is actually kind of one of the worst people sometimes. When you think about how he trained young students to basically fight, constantly putting them in danger, I mean, kind of makes sense. And then you also learn that the danger room he used to train them with became a sentient AI mutant itself, whose sentience he kind of just chose to ignore so he could keep using it to train young mutants. And when you consider how many times he's manipulated people's minds for reasons he deemed as necessary. I mean, in this case, Emma laid a trap for Charles in his golden boy Scott Summers, aka Cyclops' mind. With Scott's consent, of course, Emma knew that Charles would try to infiltrate Scott's mind, and when he did, she'd be there to give him a taste of his own medicine. And that is exactly what she did, shaming him and blaming him for much of the misfortune in Scott's past. Which, to be fair, kind of true. Emma's kind of right here. Number 5. Professor Xavier is a jerk. Honestly, I could probably just do a top 10 list like this just about Professor X. I love this moment. Maybe one of my favorite X-Men moments ever is when Kitty called out Professor X for being a jerk because he wouldn't let her join the X-Men team. Now, to be fair to Charles, he was doing this to protect Kitty, but to be fair to Kitty, Charles does have a history of training young students to literally go out on dangerous missions at his behest. So honestly, kind of fair. Also, just in general, Professor X can be a jerk, so Kitty wasn't really wrong here. Number 4. Are you angry because I was prepared to do what needed to be done, or because you weren't? Wow. I love this point. In issue number 39 of the 2011 Wonder Woman series, Wonder Woman calls out her teammates for not killing. This might seem strange to you, knowing that Wonder Woman is evidently a huge fan of love, hope, and justice, often trying to find a peaceful way to end conflicts. But at the end of the day, Diana is still an Amazon, and has also been the god of war. She is a warrior, so although she does believe in peaceful resolutions, there are times when she acknowledges that to protect innocence, sometimes blood must be shed. In this case, thousands of people were killed by an enemy who was using humans as food source for his bug-like alien queen, and Wonder Woman almost killed him for it, until she was stopped by Superman. Batman later reminds her that if this villain dies, the blood will be on Diana's hands, to which she retorts, "Are you angry because I was prepared to do what needed to be done, or because you weren't?" Calling out Bruce for how ridiculous his one rule really is. Which, to be fair, I'm kind of on Diana's side here. I feel like she's got some points. Sometimes some villains do need to be removed, I think. Sometimes. In this case, killed thousands of people. Number 3. Don't let me out for a month, no matter what. I think this is probably one of the most heart-wrenching moments on our list of someone being put in his place. And while Alfred was the first one to kind of do it in this story, ultimately it's Batman who makes that final call. This happens before Bane had even appeared in comics, but the substance he uses, Venom, actually had. Batman is actually the first one to become a frequent user of the substance, turning to it to help his performance after losing a life on duty as Batman and being unable to apprehend the people behind that crime. However, after realizing he is becoming reliant on it to the point that he even considers ending Jim Gordon's life just to score more venom, he decides to go cold turkey. While Alfred had quit briefly during this time, Batman calls him back to get his help with kicking the habit, asking Alfred to lock him in the Batcave for a month and not open the door no matter what. When he emerges, he's clean, recovered, and has a newfound sense of purpose. Also, if you were wondering, yes, he does have water and food down there, so he doesn't like starve himself for a month. Number 2. Never imagined you actually had one of these. Oof. This is quite the deep insult from Kitty Pryde, who honestly sometimes can be as cold-hearted as Emma is known to be. At one point, Kitty ended up attacking Emma when she became the Phoenix, also merged with the remnants of Cassandra Nova's psyche. Granted, this all went down in a what-if story, to be clear, but one that is definitely based on a very real perception that the whole X-Men team and school staff have of each other. Proving how powerful she is, Kitty used her mutant phasing powers to stop Emma in her tracks, even as she was turning into her diamond form, and even with the Phoenix Force. While Emma was attempting to fight against both the Phoenix and Cassandra Nova in her mind to drop her shields and basically surrender, Kitty snuck up behind her and phased her hand straight through Emma's back, reaching all the way through to the front of her and grabbing her heart along the way, phasing it right through Emma's body. Tossing Emma's heart onto the ground, Kitty then remarks how surprised she was to find out Emma actually had one. Now that is cold. Number 1. Because of you, none of these things will ever happen. You know we had to talk about this one. Talk about putting someone in their place. That is exactly what the Watcher does, whose interaction with Beast here, aka Dr. Hank McCoy of the X-Men, served to inspire this very list. After some meddling with the timeline in an effort to bring back the young X-Men to show Cyclops the error of his ways, Beast is confronted by the Watcher. The Watcher gives him visions of his friends finding happiness in the world. When he says to the Watcher that he doesn't understand the meaning of his warning, as he himself does want his friends to be happy and feel loved, the Watcher responds saying that because of Beast's meddling with the timeline, these are visions of things that will actually never come to pass, entire realities that have been completely wiped out. Ashamed, Beast asks the Watcher for help to set things right again, to which the Watcher responds, "I am the Watcher, I do not act. And you disgust me, Hank McCoy." That's brutal, man. Ugh, I'd be so embarrassed if the Watcher said that to me. That's about it. Until next time, you stay nerdy, YouTube.